Hey, Daddy, this is the man of the champions, Bill Fonzie Alfonso, giving a shout out to
Something else.
something else, Daddy.
This is Nickel Matata, Great Warrior Wolf, and you are listening to Something Else.
I'm Tony Cini, and you're listening to Something Else.
Hey everybody, it's Rich Palladino, the voice of New England, and you are listening to Something Else with Aria.
Welcome to episode number 265 of Something Else. Feast your hair holes in this week's episode as we take a look at Mid-South Wrestling and World Class Championship Wrestling from February 2nd, 1985. My name is Aria, and joining me, as always, is the Terry Ellis to my Golden Terror. It's Trey. Trey, hope you didn't think I was going to call you Slick Slim.
Why would you call me Slick Slim?
I don't know, because there was a commentary about someone named Slick Slim on this show.
Slick Slim did not make an impression upon me. Sorry.
I want to believe that Terry Ellis and the Golden Terror did, however.
They were names that were introduced on this show.
Yes, they were. Of all the names that were on this show this week, they were, in fact, two of them.
Want more generic mass jobbers with weird names. Very underrated part of pro wrestling.
Yes. So, I don't know if I can take full blame for this because you say is that, I did not put these video files together. However, my Mid-South TV file for this week listed as February 1st and February 8th, 1985. But when I turned it on and I pulled it up, the first version, the first one that should be February 1st, was an episode from a month ago. That episode with Dr. Death versus Brad Armstrong for the North American title that went to the expiration of time TV time limit. And I started watching this probably like 6 o'clock, 6:05, and we're recording this at 8 o'clock. And I'm like, oh, fucking A, don't tell me I don't even have the show. But elsewhere in my files, I did have a standalone version of this week's show. So I watched that, and during a slow point, I decided, let me see what the February 8th version is. And the February 8th version is February 1st. Well, it's really February 2nd, but Mid-South has always been dated weirdly. But yeah. So I will hopefully find the real February 9th show in time for next week. We'll see. I may have to make Trey watch the show first and tell me what at least is the beginning of the show so I can find it properly.
Yeah, I had no such difficulties.
What was that?
I had no such difficulties.
Well, I hate you. But you're talking about Mid-South, we're talking about some world class, and yeah, we're just gonna sit back and chillax and talk about some old wrestling. Now, I feel like I talk to you all the fucking time, so it's like I don't remember if we talked about this on the show. I don't think we did, because I think I talked about this on this ECW show on the site formerly known as Angry Marks. Did you see Ava left WWE?
I did see that.
Dwayne's daughter. And she went out with a bang because she had some choice words to say about our current administration.
Good for her.
Yes. Well, apparently, and I mean, hey, I am not nearly as well followed as a former NXT general manager, but she did not know what button was the block button, apparently. Because man, she got some major league harassment on the Twitter machine, and so she deleted her Twitter profile entirely.
Uh, Completely understandable. The average quality of human being that uses Twitter has gone around. I'm sorry, gone down substantially the last few years.
Yep. And I mean, these are the same douchebags that ran off Chelsea Green, you know? And Chelsea Green, by the way, and I've never met Ava, so I don't know anything about her real life personality. But Chelsea Green, total sweetheart, super nice person, did not deserve any of the hate that she got that ran her off the Twitter machine.
Look, I'll say this because I don't give a fuck. If you're defending what this administration is doing, you're not a good person.
Well, she didn't defend the administration, neither
No,
Chelsea nor Ava.
no, I don't. I was referring to the people who were attacking.
I'm sure that our listener is not, is not a maggot.
I hope not.
Um, we do have to watch what we say because even though we are that show, YouTube, the YouTube algorithm somehow knows what we say, and if you talk about certain names and certain subjects, they will make sure that no one can find your videos. And we don't have the greatest listenership to begin with, although in theory that should just mean we should just say fuck it and say whatever the hell we want. But
Maybe that's why. Maybe the YouTube algorithm fucking hates Johnny Mantel.
I hope they do. Everyone else fucking hates Johnny Mantel.
I fucking hated Johnny Mantel today. It's not even his fault.
No, it's his brother's fault. Like we saw Johnny Mantel on Mid South a few months ago, and he was a positively competent 3 to 5 minute TV match worker. I doubt Johnny Mantel has ever had a match on world class television that was 3 to 5 minutes.
Let's just start the thing. So the sooner we start, the sooner we can get to it.
Oh yeah, and believe me, this Mid South show is not going to be. This is one for the ages. But let's go to the intro with Boyd and Bill.
Welcome to this week's edition of the exciting Mid-South Wrestling Television. I'm your host, Boyd Pierce. I don't use exciting as a phrase or definition. It is the world's most exciting wrestling anywhere, match for match. And talk about matches, we'll have the Rock and Roll Express, the Mid-South Tag Team Champions, Ricky Martin and Robert Gibson in action. Another great tag team match, Hacksaw Dugan teams up with Terry Taylor against Dr. Death Steve Williams and Nature Boy Buddy Landell. And listen to this, Iceman King Parsons in the ring against Kamala the Ugandan warrior and General Skandar Akbar, his board. To tell you about all this excitement, the president of Mid-South Sports, Bill Watts.
Well, thank you, Boyd. You can't say anything more about this great card. It's a fantastic card. But first, I think one of the biggest innovations for working out has been to set the mood with some fantastic music. And you know what goes together great is breakdancing and athletics. And Mike Mogan's gym in Tulsa, Hacksaw Butch Reed was up there the other day. Joel had the cameras there. He had some of my son's friends. Eric's there. They call him Slick Slim. Richard Wales, one of the finest young running backs in the whole Tulsa metro area. Carl Jackson, a youngster who won the Tulsa breakdancing contest and plays on Micah's football team. And, of course, his brother, Jackie Jackson, played with Joel when Joel was playing there. Let's join him right now with Butch Reed and Bodywork by Hot Streak.
What fucking universe did I end up in, or what wrong thing have I done in my life that necessitates me seeing Eric Watts on multiple shows a week?
I'm just really glad that Boyd Pierce is excited. I want good things for him.
Now, here's the thing. He comes out here every week and says he's excited. How can something be exciting if everything's exciting? At some point, something's got to not be exciting, right?
Well, like, there's lots of unexciting things about life, but your weekly wrestling show should always be exciting.
There you go. So we're going to get Jim Duggan and Terry Taylor versus Dr. S.C. Williams and Buddy Landell. I wrote, geez, I wonder who's doing the job in that match. Little did I know. Plus, we're going to get Iceman versus Kamala with General Skandor Ekbar barred from ringside. And they almost stole my idea. I'll tell you what my idea was when we get to that match. I wrote it down before what happened. And I was quite irritated by how they fucked up my finish. And then we get the Butch Reed music video, because one of the great innovations of working out is having really cool hit music playing.
Yeah, you can't just listen to music. You got to work out to get it to play.
So remember how tall and skinny Eric was in WCW? Apparently that was Eric after he filled out. They called him Slick Slim. I don't know who they are, but they should be punched in the face for calling him that.
I was wondering if you had an apoplexy when Eric was mentioned.
Had an apoplexy when he was on fucking TV with his little, porn stash. Oh, God. I've never seen 4 people working out look so uncool.
I would have to run it back because I was going to watch it and then something distracted me as it was on. And I think I missed that. So I'm going to have to go back and run that back.
I don't know if you want to. By the way, again, this show is not live. They did not have to air this. Oh, God. They apparently had a 2-minute hole in the show that they had to fucking air that. Anyway, Terry Ellis and the Golden Terror versus the Mid-South Tag Team Champions, The Rock and his partner, Roll Express. The Golden Terror may have stolen one of the Conquistadors' bodysuits. Bill started talking about all the teams that have been calling to challenge for the Mid-South Tag Team titles. And he lists the Road Warriors, the Dirty White Boys, who, by the way, it's who the hell are those people? We'll get to that. And then he lists Chavo and Hector Guerrero and Ted DiBiase and Hercules as examples of teams that have been calling Grizzly Smith wanting to come into Mid-South.
Well, he's answered some of them.
I guess. I mean, he didn't say when Ted DiBiase and Hercules were calling to come into Mid-South or when the Alamo Busters were calling to come into Mid-South. They could have been calling 2 years ago for all we know.
I suppose.
Anyway, while Bill was listing all these teams, Ricky pinned Terror with a double drop kick.
No, he pinned Terry Ellis with the double drop kick.
And I thought he pinned the Golden Terror with the double drop kick.
One of us is wrong.
Let me rewind a little bit.
It does not matter.
It is, in fact, for what it's worth, it is Terry Ellis.
Okay.
I apologize. I did not mean to besmirch everyone like that.
Do not besmirch the Golden Terror.
Yes. The Golden Terror, who would go on to, I don't want to say fame, but he was a semi-regular jobber on WCW Saturday Night.
Oh.
Yes.
Same guy?
I have no idea. Someone named the Golden Terror regularly did jobs on WCW Saturday Night. Let's now go to Jim Ross, who's in the ring, and he's joined by a very dapper, North American heavyweight champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, the North American champion Ted DiBiase here in the ring has asked to make an announcement about a special video, I understand, and other things.
First of all, Jim Duggan was here 2 weeks ago, dressed in a tuxedo, trying to prove to everybody that he had a little class. Well, he showed very little class as far as I'm concerned. It's obvious that it was a rented tuxedo because it didn't fit him very well. This is tailor-made for me. I wanted to show you people the difference. I said it before and I'll say it again right now. You don't wear a class, you're born with it. and I am pure class, head to toe. I know Mid-South, and you can't deny this, Jim Ross. They're very biased and prejudiced in their judgment, the way they treat Jim Duggan and the way they treat me. So yes, I have. I have put together a montage about myself, set to the song Reputation by Joan Jett, and if you would be ever so kind as to show that to the people right now.
Let's see the Ted DiBiase prepared video.
First of all, there is no song by Joan Jett called Reputation, but this is in fact, this is in fact Bad Reputation, of course, by Joan Jett. I I don't know. I like to think that a young Ronda Rousey was sitting at home going, "I'm not born for 2 years."
I bet that's what she was thinking at that time. But yeah, so weird to see a Ted DiBiase music video to Ronda Rousey's theme. Which, by the way, like that song was like a huge part of her aura. It was it was great.
Oh yeah, like there's part of me that says that Ronda Rousey could have come out to any song and still have been Ronda Rousey, but no. It really wouldn't have worked the same way with any other song.
Absolutely, it was necessary.
And I will say, I fucking loved. You can say what you want about her in WWE. I fucking loved that WrestleMania 35. Joan Jett was there to play her to the ring.
Tremendous.
I think most, if not everybody, agrees that the only time musical performances at WrestleMania have ever worked is when it's bands playing the people to the ring.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So I have to laugh because I know this is 1985, but it's like nothing, in my opinion, nothing dates you more than when you're wearing that frilly Dickie on your tuxedo.
Frilly Dickie.
Well, what do you call it? Isn't that what it's called?
I have no idea, but I think the episode title should be Frilly Dickie.
We'll see if that one gets through this week. If it helps, General Skandor Akbar managed to eliminate all of the issues with last week's episode title. We'll get to it, but he omits one key word when he's talking about the one-man gang later on.
Okay, well, that's good.
You didn't notice?
No, why was Skandor Akbar talking about the one-man gang?
Well, not Skandor Akbar, Gary Hart, excuse me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, after Joan Jett, we go back to Ted DiBiase, who's in the ring and has been joined by his associates, Buddy Landell and Dr. Death, Steve Williams.
Well, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Right now, I'd like to issue a challenge to Mr. Duggan. I'm going to give him 2 weeks because it's going to take him at least that long to go find that tuxedo and get it back out of mothballs. I want to leave it to you people here in the studio audience. If you've got, set all your prejudice aside, and I'll let you choose who's the best dressed man in Mid-South Wrestling. If you're honest, there's no way in the world that you can help but pick me over that orangutan looking hippie, Jim Duggan.
It ain't no doubt in my mind, Teddy, who's the sharpest dressed North American champion, Jack.
That's when you see it.
Look real sharp. Beautiful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be tag team wrestling.
What is this? Some clown's outfit? That had to be tailor-made. Nothing they could fit could come off the rack for you with that big can of yours, DiBiase.
Class is class, and it stands out. If you can't appreciate it, it's not my fault. And if I want anything out of you, I'll just tap you on the nose.
All right. Take a drink every time on this show someone says that we're going to do something in 2 weeks.
Gonna be hammered all the time.
It would be a regular time for us to get drunk on this show. But yeah, so in 2 weeks we're apparently going to get some sort of best dressed contest. Now, Ted DiBiase, we're just going to call him a dumbass right now, because why would Ted DiBiase challenge somebody to a best dress contest, knowing that he's a heel, and have the fans be the judges.
That also struck me as very stupid.
And I mean, Rick Rude did the same thing at Royal Rumble '89 when him and Ultimate Warrior had the super pose down, and he's perfectly fine with the fans making the decisions. It's like it could have been Rick Rude versus, I don't fucking know, Playboy Buddy Rose, and Playboy Buddy Rose would have won just because he would have been the baby face.
Are they just that arrogant that they think that the fans are going to be so wowed by them that they'll vote with integrity? Or are they just
Honestly,
stupid?
this is now going to be the second week in a row when I reference Survivor, but this is like Russell Hantz on Survivor Samoa and then Survivor Heroes versus Villains. He was a complete dickhead, completely unlikable, making pacts with people that he knew he was going to break, making promises he knew he wasn't going to keep, and he fully expected that because he played so hard, the jury would then vote for him to win the $1 million when neither time did he win. Um, because they don't respect the way he played. And it's the same way with Rick Rude and Ted DiBiase here, where they expect the jury, or in this case their fans, to decide whether or not they look better than their opponent, even though they're a heel. Now I'm going to bet, I mean, we're 2 weeks away, I'm assuming, from this contest, even though Jim Duggan did not accept the challenge. But we're 2 weeks away. I'm pretty sure Jim Duggan could come out with a giant hole in his shirt and, be ill-fitting, and he's still going to win over Ted DiBiase in his tailor-made tuxedo.
Yeah, you would have to think so. I suppose. I don't know. I know the famous match that this is building to, but I've never seen it in the context of this whole storyline. So it's amusing.
I'm a little surprised how far in advance they've started booking it, because it's the end of March. I think it's the day before WrestleMania, March 30th. And it's the beginning of February and they're already building to it. And I only say that not because it's weird that they're doing 2 months of build, but remember last year with the Jim Cornette and angle with Bill Watts, it's like they shot the angle 3 weeks before the Superdome.
Well, maybe they learned their lesson.
I guess, maybe. We'll see how it turns out for Ted DiBiase and Jim Dugan. So by the way, I did pop when Duggan claimed DiBiase had a big ass. I'm like, that was nice of him. So Duggan used the cane to KO Buddy Landel. I guess it's not on the disapproved weapons list, but I still was expecting Duggan to get a $10,000 fine shortly for this. And then the heels literally carried out Budrow. So we go to commercial, we come back, and Jim Duggan and Terry Taylor, who was a little bitch, a stooge, and a degen, is in the ring, and they're waiting for Doc to come out for his tag match, and they tell us that, Doc needs 1 minute. If Doc doesn't come out in 1 minute, he's going to forfeit, and he goes to the back, and he comes out with Ted DiBiase, who was last seen on this show a minute ago wearing a full tuxedo and is now in his gear.
Well, that was why that was why he was delaying, because DiBiase had to change into his gear.
I don't know why this show is so much like tomorrow's TNA show, because not only was Eric Watts on this show, but tomorrow on TNA, AJ Styles shows up in the middle of a match in his street clothes, and then he gets told he has a match, and 10 minutes later, he's out in his gear.
And I mean, how long does it take you to change clothes?
I'm not sure, but it's still pretty quickly to me, where it's like, you're taking off all your clothes and you're putting on your wrestling tights and all that fun stuff. It's
maybe DiBiase had his tights on under the tuxedo.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure in real life he did, but that would give away that wrestling is a work. You see, if We knew that. And anyway, so we then get Doc and DiBiase versus Dugan and D-Gens. This is like Charles Barkley's report card. 4 Ds. I'm sorry, I thought I was going to pop you on that one.
I'm sorry. I did chortle.
So DiBiase, I said he managed to change his clothes faster than AJ Styles. Terry Taylor may be a bitch, a stooge, and a D-Gens, but he's a pretty good babyface in peril. Duggan gets the hot tag and ran wild, and then we get the finish of this match. And it's been a while since I've had to write out a paragraph to talk about the finish of a match, but here we go. Buddy Landel woke up and returned to the ring to pull down the top rope, and Duggan flew out of the ring. Somehow, referee Ronnie West, who 2 weeks ago saw the Guerreros cheat from the floor, didn't see Landel cheat when he was looking right at him. Doc ran into Budrow. DiBiase loaded his glove, or at least it looked like he loaded his glove, and him and Taylor stood in the ring and exchanged punches. So Terry Taylor almost no-selling the loaded glove here. Doc tripped Taylor from the floor, which did a better job of knocking Taylor out than a punch to the face. DiBiase put on the figure 4. Duggan broke it up with an elbow. DiBiase got knocked out of the ring. Buddy Landel ran into the ring, attacked Duggan in front of the referee, not for the disqualification. And again, remember, Ted DiBiase, brown hair. Buddy Landel, bleach blonde hair here. He's definitely in his I'm Nature Boy Buddy Landel mode here. He attacks Jim Duggan and then gets pinned by Duggan. What the fuck was this?
I don't think it was that Ron West couldn't see Buddy Landel. He just didn't give a shit.
That had to be the ultimate conclusion because, he did not give a shit that Buddy Landel ran into the ring and attacked Jim Duggan. Or he had so much faith that Jimmy Duggan could beat up Buddy Landel that he just like, whatever, let's go with it.
I hate the guy who wasn't in the match loses the fall trope. And whenever people hold up Mid-South as this beacon of reality and logic, I think of shit like this. Because this is not the first fucking time that this has happened.
And I don't remember if it's happened since you and I have been doing the show, but one of the very first episodes, Cowboy Bob Orton interfered in a match and got pinned by Junkyard Dog.
Yep.
Which I think was also Cowboy Bob Orton's last night in the territory. Coincidence? Maybe. But yeah, that was really fucking stupid. How stupid was it? When the next match came out, Sheik Hercules Hernandez with General Skandor Akbar versus Richard Dye, my first sentence is, no, seriously, what the fuck was the finish of that last match?
Watts made fun of poor Richard Dye's physique and said he needed to go to the gym.
Well, maybe he could give Richard Dye a free membership to that gym we just saw Butch Reed at with his annoying ass kids.
Maybe Richard Dye can go hang out with Eric.
And Micah was there too. Herc, by the way, to the shock of approximately nobody, won with the Shinin no Maki. The Iceman, yes, the Iceman, King Parsons, versus Kamala, the Ugandan Giant, with General Skandor Akbar, who is banned from ringside, and Friday. Now, there's a lot more to hate about this than the first thing I'm going to say, but the first thing I noticed when they pitched it to commercial, they showed the graphic, they forgot one of the quotation marks around the Ugandan Giant. So.
Oh.
Yes.
Just an open quote.
Yes. A never-ending open quote there. So Akbar came to the ring and got sent to the back. Now, I would have booked Akbar to dress like Friday and just have him come out as Friday.
I actually thought that's what they were doing at first.
Iceman hits she calls that the rear view twice, and a third time was she calls that the back of my hand, since Kamala had moved away at that point. Kamala latched on the boob hold when Saturday ran down and attacked Iceman after a ref bump, and Kamala won. Saturday then unmasked as Sheik Hercules Hernandez, which weirdly angered Kamala. I guess because it wasn't the real Friday? ? But here's my question: why did Hercules dress like Friday? Hercules was not banned from ringside.
Look, no part of this was good.
Holy fuck! What is with the show this week? We're just gonna say it's not the worst Mid-South show we ever saw, because we saw some real doozies back in '83, but this might be the worst booked episode, because at least in '83 they just had a shit ton of bad talent.
This was wacky.
Oh God! But yeah, any other thoughts about Kamala versus King Parsons here?
So I've been saying forever that like Parsons sucks if he has to sell, and this was just him selling Kamala's shit, which doesn't look good anyway. They're both like, I don't know. They're both, well, like Kamala is great when he's doing his Kamala shit and acting like a fucking scared, indigenous man who isn't familiar with the world and stuff. And then Parsons is like, this just didn't work. This was a bad combination of like things that people are good at. Because Kamala isn't good at what he needed to do in this match, and Parsons is not good at what he needed to do.
And they told us that this was the match that Parsons came into the territory for.
Go back. Go to Memphis. Just go to Memphis for a while, please. I need a break.
Let's say, considering that Iceman or that Akbar has like 7 people in his stable, why is the second person Iceman's going after Kamala?
I'm sure he's got some kind of order in mind.
I'd say not that it would have been any better in 6 weeks, but at least it would have been in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Chavo and Hector Guerrero, the Alamo Busters, versus Jason Walker and Tim Horner. I was hating this show so much that I didn't even write down, I'm not going to sing Thunder Rolls. I did not even think about it. Much to Trey's happiness, by the way.
Hector won with a German suplex on Jason Walker.
I wrote, considering how this show was going, I'm afraid to see how this match goes.
It went correctly.
During the match, we are informed that next week it'll be Hector versus Terry Taylor, who was a little bitch, a stooge, and a D-Gens for the TV title. Hacksaw Jim Dugan versus Dr. S.T. Williams. Brad Armstrong will be here. Private Terry Daniels will be here. And we have midgets for the kids.
I'm so excited.
And the way they said it made it sound like they were going to give out midgets to the children when they come into the arena. It's like, this is your midget. You get a midget. You get a midget. Everyone gets a midget. I've been waiting a long time to do an Oprah impersonation, and it wasn't even a good Oprah impersonation.
Well, you did your best.
Yes. Did I, though? Did I?
I hope.
Anyway, Chavo gave Jason Walker a monkey flip, and while he was taking this monkey flip, I was concerned that he was going to land head first on top of Chavo's head. But thankfully, he got just enough air to avoid landing on top of Chavo. And apparently the Alamo Busters have demanded that the next time they get a tag team title match, they want a Mexican referee. And according to Bill, we've never had such an international situation like this before. Keep it.
Such an international situation.
Because keep in mind, last year we had Nikolai Volkov running around with the Russian flag, converting people to Russian. But never have we had such an international situation as we have here.
Converting people to Russian.
Yes. Hey, it took a long time for Barry Darsow to stop being Russian. He actually had to follow. He had to follow Nikolai Volkov to the WWF to stop being Russian. Go figure.
He had to get weirdly into some BDSM stuff.
He was hanging out with his boys Hawk and Animal too much, and he was like, "I could do your gimmick," and they were like, "Nah, brah, no, you can't." Because you could totally see Hawk and Animal saying "Nah, brah," right?
Here's the thing, like, it was Demolition a Road Warriors ripoff? Yes. But was Demolition also like great for being Demolition? Yes.
Yes. And I don't know. It's like when I was a kid, like it didn't really scream to me that they were Legion of Doom ripoffs. It was like they're their own thing. Like I guess they weren't really, but like to me, they were their own thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's see here. Then we get Jake the Snake Roberts versus Shawn Michaels. The Heartbreak Kid lays down for absolutely nobody. Unless you wrestle him in the Irish McNeil Boys Club. Then he loses all the fucking time. It makes you wonder if Survivor Series 97 took place in Shreveport, Louisiana, if there would have been any problems at all.
I wonder when they tore the Irish McNeil Boys Club down. Was it still there? Is it Shreveport or is it just the building?
I don't know. We don't have any proof that Shawn wrestled anywhere else in Shreveport.
The Bossier City screw job.
Doesn't have the same ring to it. Bill was plugging next week's show and said, "Don't miss a top wrist lock." I personally never miss a top wrist lock myself. Shawn got a near fall here, and it was really put over. Too bad he just didn't do the whole bridge. He may have won. But I thought it was interesting. I looked this up. Despite the fact that these two guys have careers that overlap each other for over a decade, they only ever have 2 singles matches. And the other one is one that we're not going to see. It's on the Superdome show in March.
Oh.
Yeah. And I guess it makes sense because they were always on the same side of the aisle.
Yeah.
Because
they were both baby yeah. They were both baby faces and then they were both heels.
Yep. And then when Jake returned to the WWF in 96, Shawn was the babyface. And then Jake left right before Shawn turned heel. He just did not want to wrestle Shawn Michaels. Yeah. I guess you blame him.
Well, he was too up on him and he didn't want to ruin it.
There you go. They are going to have a tag match in a few months, though. So we have that to look forward to.
Cool.
Yes. Jake pinned Shawn after a DDT. It's another one of those things where it's like, yeah, like much how like Arn Anderson had all these matches against people you never knew he had matches against. Shawn Michaels is having all these matches against people that you didn't know he ever wrestled.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep. All right. Because none of our shows can ever be exclusive to one another, we have to constantly be trading talent, even though there's decades between shows in some cases. And with that in mind, we get a music video for a brand new tag team coming to Mid-South Wrestling. The Dirty White Boys. Yes, there's 2 of them. And I said Smoky Mountain Wrestling, didn't I?
I don't know. Did you? Maybe
I don't know, but they're coming to Mid South Wrestling.
they.
Regardless of what I said, they're coming to Mid South Wrestling. And the funny thing is, Trey, as I'm assuming you remember, this is not the first time we've seen them.
Was it not?
No, they uh I think you were here at the very end of their run as the Masked Grapplers, 1 and 2.
I don't think I saw them as the grapplers. That must have been right before I came on.
Oh well, you missed Dirty White Boy coming in as grappler number 2 because it was when they were doing that angle where they were claiming that Mr. Wrestling 2 was coming in as a heel, but he was really a baby face, and it ended up being the grappler that was pretending to be Mr. Wrestling 2. And then there was a second Mr. Wrestling, or there was a second grappler that came in, and that was Tony Anthony. And now they left, went to Memphis, and have now come back without their masks on.
I
And it's
used
Tony.
them as the grapplers in WCW '92.
There you go. And it's Tony Anthony with, I mean, like, he's not bald in Smoky Mountain, but he's going bald in Smoky Mountain. This is Tony Anthony with a full head of hair and Len Denton.
Yeah, the studded collars, the Confederate flags don't do anything for me, but still excited for them.
I mean, at least, well, I mean, I guess we don't know this for a fact, but I'm assuming they're heels.
I would assume so. I hope they're here to work with the rock and roll. That sounds good.
I mean, this territory is very black and white. I doubt they're coming in with, studded leather collars and all that to be baby faces.
You know what? Funny enough, in my WCW '92 save, they wrestled the Rock and Roll Express at Starrcade '92.
There you go. How was the match?
So it was pretty good. The grapplers retained the U.S. Tag Team titles with the loaded boot, and then Lynn didn't get injured, so I had to have Tony Anthony go back to be the Dirty White Boy.
I mean, you do have like 75 people on the roster that are either in rehab or injured.
I do. It's a rough time to have a steroid policy.
Oh God, they're trying to wean off the roids and are picking up injury after injury.
I
Uh,
tried. I tried to give Kerry Von Erich a chance, but I'm worried. I'm in January, turning into February of '93, so
oh boy,
is the Von Erich
I,
thing coming?
I ain't gonna do the Von Erich thing.
I got 15 women running around on me. IRS up my rear end, son. I got all kinds of problems, but I'm going to guarantee you, son, I ain't going to do the Von Erich thing. You know what I'm talking? No, I'm not. But
You can't have. Go ahead.
That's what I'm so glad you added that to the drop board.
Since you can't have Robert Fuller as a wrestler for whatever reason, I should bring in Dutch to team with Jimmy Golden.
Hey, that would work. I satisfied my need for a Terry Funk focused tag team by bringing in Stan Hansen. So that's pretty exciting.
And unfortunately, Stan Hansen probably tested positive for crack or something.
Not yet. Not yet. My tag team division is cursed.
I just thought your entire company was fucking cursed.
It's specifically the tag team division, it seems.
So your roster, you could tell them that they're all having a drug test tomorrow, and to celebrate tonight, they're all going to have a giant crack party.
Sting would never.
I always love when like you play TEW and CM Punk tests positive for something.
Yeah.
Like, of all the people in the game, actually the best wasn't TW 2020. It was the one before that. Was it 2016? I had a game where Rey Mysterio, due to a botch in a match, sustained a family death.
What?
I forget who he was wrestling, but thanks to a botch, a member of his family.
It wasn't Pero Aguayo Jr., was it?
I doubt I would have booked Paraguay Jr., but yes. I had to give Ray 30 days off so he could recover from his family death. Oh, God. That's also the game where Bam Bam Bigelow went to jail for 15 years, so I was putting him as one of my top heels.
Oh. You see, if you stayed with that save long enough, you could have had him do the Ken Patera gimmick.
You blame the Bobby Heenan types of this world. Types like yourself.
I was sitting in prison, Weasel. I had a lot of time to think of the Bobby Heenan types of this world. Types like yourself.
Not only was that always like the worst line ever, Bobby Heenan wasn't even his manager at the time. But like, even if Bobby Heenan was managing Ken Patera, what's the logic? You know, I threw a rock through a McDonald's window because Bobby Heenan was managing me.
I don't know.
Well, Mid-South isn't over quite yet. We're going back to the desk. Jake Roberts is quite perturbed, and we're going to find out why.
The Dirty White Boys will be here on Mid-South Wrestling in 2 weeks, but we have a few moments
Take a
left.
drink.
We've asked Jake the Snake Roberts to come over to us. You know, Jake, when you went out there, I think you underestimated Shawn Michaels a little bit, and he almost upset you. It was that close of a 3 count right here.
That close, Bill, watch is as good as a mile. You understand that? Maybe I was a little upset. Maybe because I had something on my mind. Like that TV title match you so nicely in Mid-South so nicely gift to Hector Guerrero. I've been a world TV champion before. I've been Texas TV champion. I came over here, my name should have went right straight to the top, don't you think?
Certainly your credentials.
My credentials.
That.
Well, a lot of good it did me, didn't it? I come over here, I try to do my best. Right here in front of all these people, I beat the man right in the middle. I had the most devastating hold in professional wrestling.
It is an impressive
bar none.
Hold. Bar none.
Bar none. The quickest.
Well, I think you'll have to see Grizzly Smith, the matchmaker, but next week it's going to be Hector Guerrero against Terry Taylor, Boyd.
Yes.
So I had it saved to mock him for saying he was world television champion, the Texas television champion. And then I realized he may have been television champion in Georgia. And I think they called theirs the world television title.
I believe some parts of that to be the case, probably.
Well, so I'll refrain from mocking Jake Roberts because I was really ready to mock him for calling the Texas television title the world television title. Or the Texas television title is an example of him being the world television champion.
It's just the way that Texans see the world. Okay, you remember when the Texas when the American heavyweight champion beat the world heavyweight champion to become the Texas heavyweight champion?
I do. Oh God! Don't ask me how. Well, I guess it's pretty easy because of a jump here. But when I was a kid, I used to study the PWI Almanac because why not?
Yeah.
And the one thing that stuck with me, because I'd go through the title history and always be fascinated, especially by these territory championships, that Ric Flair and Harley Race kept trading the Missouri heavyweight title, and it would only last until the other person lost the world title, until they won the world title. Then they'd forfeit the Missouri title, and the other one won it.
Yeah, funny that, isn't it?
Yes. All right, so that was Mid-South, a really wackily, weirdly booked episode. And now we move 140 miles west over to the Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas for World Class, or I wrote, let's hope I have the right episode, although with World Class, because it's so repetitive, how do you even know when you have the right episode of World Class?
You'd have known it this week.
I definitely did know I had the right episode this week. Let's go to the intro with Mr. Bill Mercer.
Welcome to World Class Championship Wrestling, the Major League of Professional Wrestling, seen from Boston to Los Angeles and around the world from Israel to Tokyo. Yes, sir, right here from the Sportatorium, the most famous wrestling arena in the world, here in Dallas, Texas. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Mercer. Great to have you with us, and you're lucky because we've got a tremendous main event. It is Kevin Von Erich, and Billy Hayes against gentlemen Chris Adams and Gino Hernandez, and that's the big tag team event. And coming up, a world-class championship wrestling encore featuring the one-man gang next on World Class Championship Wrestling.
Okay, so earlier today, Trey messaged me saying, you know, hey, have you watched World Class? Because there's a really shitty finish to a match. And looking back now, I should have said, well, of course I didn't watch it because I always tell you what part to skip when there's an encore match. And Trey did not afford me that same luxury.
I knew that you were going to bitch about this, even though they only showed like 3 minutes of that fucking thing.
And it's funny because like when they said there'd be a one-man gang encore match, I'm like, you had like one fucking match in the territory. Do we really need to see a replay of that? And we didn't. We saw a replay of the finish of last week's main event with Kerry and Chris Adams, where One Man Gang ran in eventually to attack young Kerry Von Erich.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So after that, we're going to Gary Hart's office. And Bill Mercer has snuck in with a camera crew to speak to Gary Hart. And here's what Gary had to say.
Hart's office to talk about the counter and the solution. Gary, the counter solution, is this the one-man gang to help Chris Adams to the goals that you've set for him?
As I had said to you a couple of weeks ago, I've been having a lot of problems and difficulties with the three Von Erichs, meaning Kevin, Mike, and Kerry. As you know, I want Chris Adams to become world's heavyweight champion, right. And I believe deep in my heart, Bill, that he is the greatest wrestler in the world today. But the situation with the Von Erichs, wrestling all three of them, continuously they jumping in on his matches, I had to come up with some solution. And the solution is none other than 6'9", 460-pound one-man gang, a kid from Halsted Street in Chicago.
All right, now you've got him here, and you say the Von Erichs are interfering in Chris Adams, but how does the one-man gang facilitate Chris getting into the World Heavyweight Championship match or American Championship match? How are you going to do this?
Very easy. Well, it's not as easy as it would sound, but with my ability, I can get it taken care of. You see, if I know that if a Von Erich wants to wrestle Chris Adams, if I know that he has to go through the one-man gang before he gets a shot at Chris Adams, I don't think the Von Erichs are going to be too interested in jumping on a man that's 6'9" and over 400 pounds.
Then you intend to physically eliminate the Von Erichs and physically eliminate anybody who stands in Chris's way. Is that right?
I'm not going to say I intend to physically eliminate them, but I could say that we're going to deter them from attacking Chris Adams and trying to stay on Chris Adams to a point where Chris Adams' win-loss record is such that he don't get the title shots he deserves. You notice Kerry Von Erich gets his title shots, but if Kerry Von Erich should come up with a bad hamstring or if he had a cracked rib and he couldn't compete against Ricky Flair, well then it's a good possibility that...
or if Kerry Von Erich is slightly injured and wrestles Chris and is beaten, then you consider Chris has a better chance.
Sure, you've got the idea. That's the way it's looking to me, too. You're a very, very astute man, Bill.
I've been around you a long time. I think you are a man of great, devious but interesting situations sometimes. But the one-man gang is an absolute fact.
Well, the one-man gang, see, you must know his background so you can truly appreciate him. This young man is 24 years old, grew up on Hall Street in Chicago, hung out in street gangs, and was introduced into the wrestling business by a wrestler that's from Chicago. And this wrestler called me and he said, Gary, I know you're having some trouble, and I think I have just the right solution for you. And I think I came up with the right one, don't you?
It very well could be. Another Gary Hart coup for Chris Adams. The one-man gang, the counter, and the solution, maybe.
We'll be back with more on World Class Championship Wrestling.
So, I was horribly distracted during this promo because we're in Gary Hart's office. This is where he conducts his business. And Gary Hart has a nice big desk that he's sitting behind. Trade, if you take yourself off mute, could you tell me if you recall what was on Gary Hart's desk?
I did not notice.
He has a big ass desk, and on the desk are four things. And this is what he uses apparently to conduct business: a calculator, a pen, what looks like a paperweight, and a nameplate that says Gary Hart.
Fantastic.
I don't want to imply that this may not actually be Gary Hart's actual desk, but I don't know. I kind of assume to be a little, not so much messier, but busier.
My desk is both messier and busier.
Yes. And I guess 1985, so you don't necessarily have a computer per se, but it's like no notepads, no pen. Oh, I guess there's one pen. Hopefully he doesn't lose that pen because then he'd be fucked. But yeah. But I like the idea of this, that he's so desperate to get Chris Adams a world title match that he brought in a heater that the Von Erichs have to go through to get to Chris Adams. But the issue is, I don't think anybody on the planet believes that the Von Erichs are going to be too afraid of any one man, no matter who it is, to try to go through to get to Chris Adams.
I don't think you're wrong. I just don't think that that's a deal breaker. I don't think the fact that the heel is underestimating the bravery of the baby faces renders the concept invalid.
I mean, that's kind of the point where it's like, Kerry, Kevin, and Mike are not going to not go after Chris Adams if they got to go through one-man gang. But, yeah. I mean, I guess we got to follow up on this Chris Adams run for the world title somehow. By the way, we're still waiting for that Ric Flair Kerry Von Erich rematch that was demanded back on Christmas night.
By the way, are we doubting the validity of the idea that the one-man gang is going to beat these guys up? He's a very big, scary man.
Oh, I'm sure he'll beat them up, but I don't believe the Von Erichs will back down even if they get beaten up.
Well, they're not very smart, but they're going to get beat down, and it's going to make it easier for Chris Adams to beat them. That's the whole thing. See, you're looking at it like a checkers game, and Gary Hart is playing chess.
I did note that Gary Hart did not call this his final solution this week. Somebody got to Gary.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. By the way, not the best promo on the show. We have an amazing promo coming up later in the show. But and the other, I was disappointed about one other thing. I did have a Ricky Flair counter on this, but he only said Ricky Flair one time.
But he did say it. He's always gonna get it in there.
Gary Hart on his deathbed, I guarantee he was talking about Ricky Flair.
Ricky Flair.
Kelly Kiniski versus El Diablo Grande. Kelly Kiniski is a heel. So by default, that makes the baby face in this match the Big Devil.
It sounds like man, I missed the volcano burrito. Remember the volcano burrito at Taco Bell?
I do. I never ate it though.
Oh, it was a little violent.
A little.
Oh.
I don't know what it's been, but just my taste buds have really changed about Taco Bell. I used to love Taco Bell. I'd go there, get my steak quesadilla, my soft taco, and my Mountain Dew. And man, that was some good shit. I can't eat it anymore. The Mountain Dew I can drink, but I mean, I can get Mountain Dew anywhere, not just Taco Bell. Um, but it's like the steak quesadilla turns my stomach, the soft taco turns my stomach, and just the Taco Bell version of both. Like I've made both at home, and they've been just fine. But the Taco Bell version just not turning my stomach for some reason.
Well,
What's
yeah.
what's your Taco Bell order?
So, a Crunchwrap Supreme, but you add rice to it, makes it even better. And then I don't know, usually just like like another like a fuck, what is it called? A cheesy gordita crunch, or sometimes just like a beef cheesy double beef burrito or something.
Have you ever had the Mexican pizza?
You know, I tried it one time when I was a kid and I didn't like it. And then it went away, and then everybody was always talking about it, so they brought it back. And I'm like, well, let me try this again, and I still didn't like it.
I didn't have it as a kid, but I had some coworkers who loved it. They swore by it. This was the greatest thing ever. You have to try the Mexican pizza. I didn't care for it either.
Yeah.
But oh well, if you like it, knock yourself out. I
Well,
will say, March is coming up. I do enjoy a good Shamrock Shake.
I have some very heartbreaking breaking news.
Hiromu Takahashi left New
Hiromu
Japan.
Takahashi's leaving New Japan. It's very, very sad.
I gotta find my Daryl Takahashi hat and dust it off. I didn't look to see why. Do we know why he's leaving New Japan?
It nobody's exactly saying why, but it's like all the Naito guys are leaving. Like, because Evil left, Sonata's taking a leave of absence, Hiromu's leaving. Like
Naito did leave.
Naito and Bushi left, and then what? Shingo was talking about working outside dates. I guess the only yeah.
I mean,
Tsuji seems well placed, at least.
I mean, you have to, I make new stars, and it's hard sometimes to do it if the old guys are hanging around. Not saying that Hiromu, I had higher feelings of Hiromu than I think a lot of people did, because like especially when he took on Naito, and we talked about this on the show, he took on Naito last year at Wrestle Kingdom, and I thought it was obvious that he was going to win, and he didn't. And you were shocked that I thought it was obvious that he'd win.
Yeah, that's not what they do. But yeah, they had pretty much, I don't know. I assume he's going to go to Noah and hook back up with Naito and Bushi. He's been working there a lot. He was a junior heavyweight champion there. He seemed like he liked working there. So hey, you know what? I always say it's a good thing for these guys to move companies, not just it's not hasn't been as much of a thing historically in Japan, but it's good for everybody. That's what the business is meant to be. You keep rosters fresh by people moving.
Maybe if he goes to Pro Wrestling Noah, he can hook up with Dean Malenko's daughter.
Dean Malenko's daughter is in Noah?
She just debuted this morning, apparently.
Wow.
Yes. She teamed with Sophia Sivan, forgive me if I mispronounced that name, to face Dream Girl Ellie and Zones and Olivia Rose and the Great Sakuya in a three-way tag match. And unfortunately, Marie Malenko did lose her debut Noah match.
The Great Sakuya is billed as the Great Muda's daughter, but I don't know if there's anything to that at all, if it's just a gimmick. I think it's just a gimmick.
By the way, the Great Sakuya will be challenging Mayo Iwatani for the GHC Women's title next.
That sounds like a Lulu.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Great Muda's kayfabe daughter.
I mean, she does a great Moody gimmick. Mayu Iwatani is very good.
Well, she is. I'm very familiar with Mayu Iwatani, and I know how good she is. But you know, I think in order to have a true banger, you need to have two people who can go.
No.
Somehow this is not the match that we should be deviating from talking about. But so Kelly Kiniski wears a jacket that says Canada in big dumb letters. Drunk Mark Laurent says he's from Canada. The graphics guy says he's from Canada. Bill Mercer announces him as being from Minnesota.
Bill, what are you doing?
Wasn't it Kelly Kiniski that Bill Watts fired so he could bring in Sting and the Ultimate Warrior? And the
Was it?
locker room was pissed off because he's such a nice guy.
He seems like a nice fella.
I think it's Kelly Kiniski. I could be wrong, I guess, but I think it's Kelly Kiniski that he fires to bring in Sting and Warrior. I guess we'll see when Sting and Warrior come in because they debut in pro wrestling at the end of this year.
All right.
I don't know when they end up in Mid South, but I know they're there in '86. So I don't know Warrior. I don't think Warrior lasts long because he's like everyone remembers. Well, his pre WWE days, they remember him from Memphis and World Class.
Yeah, I don't think he stayed. They're not in Memphis very long, I don't think, and I don't think that he stays in Mid South very long.
Nope. So Kelly Kiniski, super nice guy, just not the most exciting wrestler. But he did win with a clothesline that looked more like a shoulder tackle and a knee drop. I wrote, I'm pretty sure this is not the finish that Trey freaked out about.
It was not. Perfectly fine, whatever. Kelly worked him over and it was boring, and then Diablo made a comeback and it was cool. And then the knee drop looked good, so there you go.
Yep. After I wrote that, I heard the words "The Snake and Johnny Mantell next," and I was like, no. And then they said that before the next match, they announced that next week, the main event on this show is Mike Von Erich versus Jake the Snake Roberts. So I sat down in my seat and I'm like, okay, Jake Roberts is in the main event next week against somebody who is not Johnny Mantell. He's against a Von Erich. So you want to put him as strong as possible. So there is no way in hell he's going to go to a 10-minute time limit draw against the pride of Monte County, Texas, Johnny Mantell. And Trey, this is one of those good news, bad news situations because Jake Roberts and Johnny Mantell did not go to a 10-minute time limit draw.
No, they didn't.
They went, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to a 15-minute time limit draw.
13 minutes and 39 seconds it took them to do that 15-minute draw.
So at one point, Jake hits a DDT, and then instead of pinning John Mantell, he just kicks him out of the ring. Now, we rarely, if ever, see a count out in World Class, so maybe I'm about to flip out for no good reason, but David Manning Von Erich, the most biased motherfucker of all time, counts to 10 with Johnny Mantell outside of the ring and then stops. He did not stop and ring the bell. He just stopped. And so maybe a count out in World Class is 20, and I never noticed because when do you ever look for a count out because they don't do them. But I got pissed off because Johnny Mantell got counted out here and it didn't count. Then not only do they go to the time limit draw, Johnny Mantell was on top when the bell rang. Trey,
match,
save me.
this match is everything that I hate about the show. It was boring because all they were doing was killing time. And you got a guy who is supposed to be getting pushed and who you have just announced is in the main event of your TV show next week. And he's going to a boring, long draw with a prelim guy because the prelim guy is the Booker's fucking brother. Fuck. Kid Mantel is the worst goddamn Booker.
Now, it still doesn't explain why they would book him in the main event next week and in a time limit draw on a prelim against the prelim guy this week. But this is it for Jake Roberts. After next week, he did have 2 other matches, but I didn't look close enough to see if they were going to be on TV. But I believe next week's match is going to be his last match here in the territory.
He's probably happy to go.
I bet he's going to Mid-South for a bit before he becomes super duper famous. And has to have a Mid-South rivalry against George Wells at WrestleMania 2.
Yeah.
But yeah. Poor Jake. But things are picking up for Jake. Things are picking up for him. All right. So before the main event, we're now going to go to Bill Mercer, who is standing by with one of the participants in the main event. And you'll note that he is not that interested in talking about his match. But let's go now to Kevin Von Erich.
Well, Kevin, we've seen the arrival of the one-man gang, haven't we?
Well, Bill, he's a force to be reckoned with. Let me tell you this. Kerry's not hurt. Kerry's all right, and Kerry's in good shape, and don't worry about him a bit. Kerry will bounce back. He'll be there.
I'm sure he will. You got a big match coming up.
Well, I sure do, Bill, but Billy Haynes is a guy that is going to be a great tag team partner, and I'm really looking forward to it. What I wanted to talk to you about.
What's that?
Our wrestling show is real big in Israel, and I'd love to go to Israel someday.
Hey, I'll go with you.
Well, I've got a friend from Israel. IC, come here.
Who's it?
IC Curry, a friend of mine.
IC. Good to see you.
See you. He's going to speak some Arabic.
Say hello. Oh, your family in Israel?
Yes, sir. I just want to say hello to my mom, Najla Saad, and my brother, Isad. Masal khair jamia.
Oh, great. Good to see you, IC.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, I see.
Kevin, thank you.
Well, thanks, Bill. I'll be giving it all I got tonight.
Okay.
IC was far more excitable during his promo than Kevin Von Erich was.
What a nice fellow.
Unfortunately, I don't think IC's coming back, but he should. We need IC on this show every week.
He should be partners with Bill. We should commentary together. He'd be like Don West.
By the way, I forgot to mention this during the Jake Roberts match. When John Mantell was on the floor being counted out, there was a black guy just standing by the ring apron smoking a cigarette.
Oh, it was the 80s. You could still smoke inside.
I thought Vince McMahon got rid of all the smoking in the arenas. Not smoking laws changing. Vince McMahon.
I mean, we still got a Smoky Mountain Wrestling. You can't get smokier than that.
I guess not. Damn, I didn't think about that. So we go to our main event. Chris Adams and Gino Hernandez with Gary Hart versus Kevin Von Erich and Bill Haynes with Sunshine. Kevin does not look terribly thrilled about this match. And Haynes, I'm sure he's had it for the past 2 weeks, but his man perm, he was really rocking the man perm this week.
Yeah, it was to nearly Bob Ross's proportions.
Oh my God. Can you imagine Billy Jack Haynes taking over for Bob Ross?
You like that Family Guy cutaway with aggressive Bob Ross? You remember
that? I don't remember it. I'm sure I saw it, but I don't remember it.
We're gonna put a tree there. That'll just be our little secret. And if you tell anybody about that tree, I will find you and I will cut you.
Now, for some reason, that's making me want to see both Billy Jack Haynes and Dr. D. David Schultz doing the. Because I think Dr. D would go and stab you if you told anyone about the secret little bush there. Um, Billy Jack Haynes would find a way to transition that into saying that Vince McMahon murdered Chris Benoit. Um, we'll just say Billy Jack Haynes has some problems. You know?
Billy Jack Haynes is crazier than Rainbow Trout in a car wash.
And I'd like to, pinpoint his run in world class because I think Sunshine fucked with his head.
Now, Sunshine is a very nice young lady.
I don't know. She had her own mental health problems, so maybe she passed them on to Bill Haynes here.
You can't transmit mental health problems.
Well, let's say they were traveling between towns. And I'm not saying who knows if they actually did or not, but who knows if they ever talked to each other outside of the ring. But let's say they were, and Bill Haynes is dealing with his dad who's got deadly diabetes, and you have Sunshine who's just being annoying as fuck.
Oh.
But anyway, I'll be honest, I could not concentrate on this match. That last match that we saw was such an epic. It was so exciting that I could not pay full rapt attention to this match here. This is why when WWE for decades would have a main event match on a pay-per-view and then have 2 or 3 matches to bring the crowd back down. Because you need that after an exciting bout like Jake Roberts versus the Pride of Monte County, Texas, John Mantell. So going from that match to this match, I could not keep my attention. But Gino was thrown outside. Yeah, Gino was thrown out of the ring at one point, and I noted that he needs to get his ass in the ring because he'll actually be counted out. Rules for thee, not for me. And the finish saw Bill put Gino in the full Nelson, but Chris used, and I quote, the super thrust kick. Gino made the cover. Kevin broke it up at 2, but still somehow failed at that, and Gino won.
Because Rick Hazard was the referee and not that biased David Manning.
I just thought Kevin was really bad at breaking up pinfalls.
This was a good match. Gino and Chris are a good team, and Kevin is very over as a baby face. And like Billy Jack was good here in this role.
Now, where the hell was One Man Gang here? Because after the match, Kevin attacked Chris Adams and put his penis into Chris Adams' face. And Chris did not like that, so he bailed.
Well, those are unreasonable working conditions. You shouldn't have to have a coworker put his penis in your face.
He should go to world-class human relations.
Human relations.
Human resources, pardon me.
There you go.
I'll get it right eventually. But that was world class. A cure for insomnia.
Boy, was it. That sure was a world class.
I'd like to believe that Kevin saw that match and then decided, man, I'd really like to go to Israel.
Anywhere to get away from this.
Indeed. But knowing his luck, whatchamacallit, John Mantell would probably follow him.
Damn it.
I'm trying to scroll through the Twitter to see if anything's happening of note on Raw, and apparently Brie Bella is back, which, Ooh, here's some news. We have a big match coming up for the New Japan New Beginning USA show on February 27th.
What's that?
It's going to be, forget my mispronounce her name, Shuri, defending the IWGP Women's Championship against your forever Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, Athena.
That sounds fucking awesome.
It does. And if you're in Parsippany, New Jersey this Sunday, you could watch the Super Bowl with Sergeant Slaughter, which sounds pretty interesting to me.
Do we have to watch the Super Bowl? Can I just hang out with Sergeant Slaughter?
I don't think you're forced against your will to watch to watch the Super Bowl. You can certainly hang out with Sergeant Slaughter, unless of course Sergeant Slaughter wants to watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So the Royal Rumble was this past Sunday, or this past Saturday, excuse me. And last week on SmackDown, they taped it in Saudi Arabia and it was live for the rest of the world and taped on like an 8-hour tape delay for the US. And they had a production fuck up showing that Braun Breaker would be number one in the Royal Rumble. And it was their fucking fault. But of course, to pwn the internet, they then the next day changed it so Braun would be number 2 in the Rumble. And Obafemi came out as number 1. Now, the reason why I bring this up is not because I give enough of a fuck about Triple H needing to pwn the internet, but because Meng's Mullet on Twitter, at Meng's Mullet, said, "You got to be a bad motherfucker to show up to a 30-man fight with a necklace made of Dunkin' Donuts munchkins." And it gets better than that because Jordan Grace retweeted it and said, "I'm sorry, but I'm in literal tears over this." Oh, God. So, are you excited that Roman Reigns and Liv Morgan are now going to get guaranteed title shots at WrestleMania?
I don't care.
Oh, God.
So I assume it's Roman versus Punk, right? Nothing else makes sense.
They haven't said anything on the show yet, and I guess Roman and Liv are supposed to be on Raw tonight, but either they haven't been on the show or nobody's been cared enough to tweet about it. But I know Hunter has enjoyed telling us the day after the Rumble what the title matches are going to be, so it wouldn't shock me. And I cannot imagine Liv versus Jane Cargill at WrestleMania.
Jane. Call her Jane Cargill.
I did. Because, there's like 3 things that I've stolen from Jim Cornette. And that and Almost, and I forget the other one, but anyway, so I don't even remember who the other women's champion is, and I know we talked about this because you named all the champions of WWE a few weeks ago, but whoever is the other world champion, who may be Io Sky, maybe? No, because Io was the tag champs with Rhea Ripley. I have no fucking idea, but, I got a feeling Liv's going to wrestle them.
I would not choose to wrestle Jane Cargill if I had a choice.
Well, like that's like the most random ass fucking match.
So many fucking titles listed here. Holy shit. And I'm checking Cage Match. I'm trying to find the other women's champion. There's like Stephanie Vaquer. Okay, yeah, wrestle Stephanie Vaquer.
Wow. Yeah, I was not even coming close to guessing that one. But yeah, it's like they had the idea for WrestleMania to be Cody versus Roman 3, and then decided against that. But it's like, and not even saying that was a great match to be building towards, but it's like now it's like there isn't a match. It's like I guess they're doing Roman versus Punk, but then it's like you hear like, oh, the other match is going to be Drew versus Cody, and they may put in Jacob Fatu and make it a 3-way. And it's like nothing against any of the 3 people, but it's like Cody and Drew feel like they've been fucking feuding for a year.
Didn't they just do a 3 stages of hell? I feel like that should be the blow off for a while.
They did, but it's like Drew had to win so they could continue the program, I guess. I don't get it. But yeah, it's like Drew, and I said this before, and I love Drew. He got the title for the same reason Ronnie Garvin got the title. They decided they had to do a title change, and Drew was the guy that was in the feud with Cody at that time.
Well, I don't know. I like Drew. Good for him. Whatever. I don't know. I don't watch it. I just see things on the internet, and I don't comment on it except for when you bring it up on the show, because I feel like I would be a bad co-host if I didn't comment on the shit you brought up.
It makes you not the worst co-host I've ever had. Um, I my brother, we when my brother and I had a podcast, I would be like begging him to say something, and he'd be like, "Oh, I just like listening to you talk." I'm like, that doesn't make for a very entertaining fucking podcast. Um, but I don't even fucking know, and it's like I don't care enough to, you know, care, I guess, even though we're here talking about it. Um, I don't fucking know. It's like
I don't know why we're talking about it other than that we record this while Raw is happening.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I mean, well, that's a problem, dude. Like, there's no fucking day we could record it that there's not wrestling happening. You know?
There's always there's wrestling on somewhere every night, isn't there?
Except for Sundays. You know?
Yeah.
But that's about it. If we did it on Saturday, we'd be sitting here talking about Collision. But what to the ever, I guess. So any update on our plan to get you to Chicago for the G1?
Oh, I have no idea. Have they said anything about when tickets are going on sale?
Not to the best of my knowledge. And it is of course at the Now Arena, and my plan is still to kidnap my brother, and he is, to the best of my knowledge, unaware of the kidnapping plans.
Well, I don't want to be an accessory to any felonies.
Well, if it helps, I have permission from his wife to kidnap him.
That'll probably make it easier.
Yeah. And it's currently permission with an asterisk because she has work, so they need to get a babysitter. And so she's working on that in the background and somehow has to do it without him finding out.
Okay, well, that sounds very complicated.
Yes, it is. But I know I was going to say something and then managed to forget what I was going to say. We were talking about WWE. I'm sure it was very important. Oh yeah, because I was thinking about Drew McIntyre beat Sami Zayn on Saturday to retain the WWE by God Championship. It's been 2 years. If it were you and you were the person with the pencil, does Sami Zayn beat Roman Reigns in Montreal?
No, because that had to be Cody.
Actually, it hasn't even been 2 years. It's been 3 years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it the 2023 WrestleMania when it was Roman Cody the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus Christ, time flies. It's been 3 years, and it's like I can't say like they didn't do the right thing, but it definitely was it definitely was a downer when it did happen.
It was supposed to be.
Yeah. And I mean, it definitely didn't make anybody happier when that was the first Roman Cody Mania and Roman won. Um, and I
Yeah.
still blame I still blame -1 for that because you know he was at ringside. Cody gave him his weight belt, and then he lost.
Give it to Jinx.
Yeah. I don't know if he was there at WrestleMania 40, but Cody did not stop and give him his weight belt.
He
So
learned his lesson.
he did. He did. Um, but by the way, I'd like to point out that -1 was on WWE programming and has been booked by AEW again in the future. So remember there's that whole big thing when Ricky Starks was shown on security camera footage walking into the arena with Cody that time, and it was a whole big thing. -1 apparently rules for thee, not for me, I guess. He's a good kid. I'm being a jerk on purpose, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
Purposeful jerk.
What was that?
You're a purposeful jerk.
I am. The worst kind of jerk, too. All right. Anything else you want to talk about here?
You see, I really don't. And then now you've chastised me for not having anything to say when you throw it to me for something to say. But like, what am I? We already had the podcast. I've talked myself out. What do you want me to? What do you want me to talk about?
I don't know. What are your thoughts on tomorrow's TNA show? The one you
I
didn't
didn't.
watch?
Oh, I approve of it. I approve of you watching it, not me.
Oh, I was gonna say you did not watch that show if you approve of it. But that's gonna do it for this week. I hope you all enjoyed the show. Thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you again in 7 days.
Bye.